Hello, hello, hello. I'm Jessica Yvonne, your book bae, coming on for a quick book chat today. I hope this video finds you well. So, although it's not Throwback Thursday, or technically it could be, I wanted to come on and discuss a good book I read back in 2019, and it is called More Than Enough: Claiming Space for Who You Are, No Matter What They Say, by Elaine Welteroth. Welteroth. Yes. So her book, I believe, came out in 2019. I purchased this book from Mahogany. Is it Mahogany Books? I think it's Mahogany Bookstore in Washington, D.C. is a Black-owned bookstore. I remember I saw the bookstore on the Steve Harvey show, and I decided next time I went that way to visit the African American History Museum, I wanted to make sure I checked that out along with Sankofa books. I remember this is one of the first books I bought at her store, her and her husband's store. And I really like it. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. And as you can see, I tabbed it so much. And during that time, I was in a space where I think I just needed just some reinforcement around what I wanted, what I was doing, and where I was going. It's so funny, at one point of time in your life, you can have so much clarity and have everything kind of worked out in your head. And then you can get all those things accomplished. And then you can come to a point in time in your life where you're not as confident or 100% sure in the choices you have made or you're going to make. So yeah, this book right here was a 10 out of 10. I highly recommend. It is a memoir, and it just discusses her childhood up into adulthood and her career and how she climbed the ladder, being the only Black person in some of these spaces, and learning to take on some of her counterparts' attitude towards things. But anyway, let me give you a little bit of the synopsis and share with you some of the memorable quotes that she had in here that may make you want to pick the book up as well. I think this may also fall into the self-help area also, but I know definitely a memoir. And the foreword was done by Ava DuVernay. And if you know, you know. She had a lot of great shows on Network, I think, during that time. And she's so talented, and she's had so many other things since then, I'm sure. But yeah, Ava DuVernay, she's that woman. So it says here, part memoir, part manifesto, More Than Enough explores what it means to come into your own on your own terms. By age 30, Elaine had climbed the ranks of media and fashion, shattering ceilings along the way. When she became the youngest and only the second Black editor-in-chief, Welteroth helped infuse Teen Vogue with social consciousness, amplifying youth voices on key issues, and proving there was more to the selfie generation. Yet as a young boss and the only Black woman in the room, she faced the unspoken consequences of being a barrier breaker across so many intersections. Throughout her life and career, Welteroth has had to contend with the notion that she wasn't enough. As a young girl, not pretty enough, not smart enough. As a mixed race person, not black enough, not white enough. As a professional, not old enough, not fashion enough. But now she's had enough of the world telling women they are not enough. In her riveting and timely debut, the groundbreaking journalist unpacks profound lessons on race, identity, power, ambition, and love, from forging her own path as a determined child of an unlikely interracial marriage in a small town, California, to finding her voice on the front lines of a modern movement. Welteroth goes beyond the headlines and highlight reels to offer an honest portrait of what success really looks like for a leader who is what Shonda Rhimes calls an FOD, first, only, different. Brimming with vulnerability, humor, and hard-earned wisdom, More Than Enough is fittingly much more than a memoir. It is a moving affirmation for anyone who's ever faced fear and persevered anyway. So let me give you a few of the tabs or the few of the pages that really stood out. One quote here that she starts it off with: "If I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crunched into other people's fantasies for me and eaten alive." And that's a quote by Audre Lorde. The next quote I loved that she shared says, "Nothing bad ever happens to me. It's all to learn and grow." And that's by Ava DuVernay. The next one I loved, she says, "When the world tells you to shrink, expand." The next quote, I liked here, she says, "As a Black woman, the decision to love yourself just as you are is a radical act." And that's by Bethany Bryant. But then also on the other side, Elaine says, "I had been looking at Blackness like it was a party I didn't get the invite to, like it was a dance someone forgot to teach me. But that night I learned that as much as it is our shared history and a pride in our culture that connects us, being part of the Black experience is being bonded by the painful and sometimes violent experience of exclusion." Here's another one I really loved too. This is one, it's by Elaine, and she says, "There's a divine order, a divine flow to our lives. We don't need to have all the answers, but our job is to keep on dreaming and trusting enough to put one foot in front of the other." And then in chapter 8, she quotes Michelle Obama. She says, or Michelle Obama says, "I realized that they weren't at all smarter than the rest of us. They were simply emboldened, floating on an ancient tide of superiority by the fact that history had never told them anything different." And the last one, because I'm not going to hold you here. It says, "When women affirm women, it unlocks our power. it gives us permission to shine brighter. And that's it, guys. That's all. I hope those quotes make you interested in reading the book. She had so many great gems. I think I might share this one more. one more, just this. Maybe two more. If we aren't vigilant, we can move through our entire lives feeling smaller than we actually are. By playing it safe, by unconsciously giving away our power, by dimming our radiance, by not recognizing there is always so much more waiting for us on the other side of fear. But when we are brave enough to go there, to grab what we want, to tap into who we are, damn, it feels so good. And the last one I really loved. There are only new beginnings. It's not the end. It's not a failure. Starting over. It's a new beginning. Sometimes it's just about perspective. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. I think you would love this book. It was very insightful, made me think. It was a blessing to me during that time frame, and even a blessing to me now when I was just reading those quotes, reminders of empowerment. Let me give you a couple of things in the back here. Lena Waithe, she says, this isn't just a coming of age story. It's a book about coming into your own and embracing who you are. As we follow Elaine's journey, she sheds a bright light on what happens when a Black girl not only decides to be the master of her own destiny, but challenges what the world thinks a Black girl's destiny should be. And then Yari Shahid, she says, Elaine gifts us all with a beautifully intimate and powerful retelling of her ever unfolding journey. In sharing her joys, pitfalls, adventures, self-doubt, and successes, she reminds us that through uncovering and discovering the many facets of ourselves, we are more than enough. And the last one, for real this time. This is Reese Witherspoon. She says, Elaine's book is a call for young women to find their voice and spark their courage. It's a book I would have loved to discover as a young woman starting my own career. And even though she says young women, I feel like men could benefit from this book as well. I'm sure there are men out there that also feel like they are not enough in certain spaces. I know because I've met them, I've talked to them, I've coached them in the past. And I think this book can be for men or women. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you picked the book up, even though it is a oldie, it is a goodie. And I think it will enhance your life and be an asset. As always, I wish you nothing but inner peace, positivity, and empowerment. Take care. Until next time, have a great Thursday. Bye-bye.